viewers, naked turner subscribers, and woodworkers and YouTubers. I just wanted to welcome you to my tiny little shop again. And I had some requests to do a full walkthrough on the Powermatic. So in response to my viewers, I'll do a quick little walkthrough sort of tutorial on the things that this lathe is capable of, and pretty much your own imagination is the limit with when it comes to having something like this. So my hopes is that this will allow me to expand my imagination a little bit more, be a little bit more creative, and hopefully when I have a little bit more time, I'll be able to get into some more advanced projects with this lathe. So take a little walk through with me, and I'll show you a few of the features that I really like and some of the things that maybe could be a little bit better. Alright, so starting up here at the headstock, we have a removable bracket that holds the air line here. That air line is for a chucking system, and that chucking system fits in right here. So here's the chuck that slides into the receiving tailstock, and you got to kind of be careful here because there we go. Give it a little spin and put a little bit of lube on those little O-rings every once in a while. So that slides in here. This also has a really nice indexing system, just like so. That locks it off. It has numerous detents. You could do just about anything with the numbers of detents that this has. This allows it to swing out of the way to hit 3 different positions here. Let's see if I can give you a little better view of that. So you can see there are 3 different series of holes around here for an infinite number of offsets and segments and potential pin indexing for any lathe project that you're doing. So that's a really nice feature, and it's really easy to engage and lock off, and it's very positive. So that's the chucking system here, the indexing system here, the lockdown for the indexing system, and everything is very well designed. And so I'm going to line it up right there with the outer ring for right now and lock it off, leaving this fully spinning. And then what I'll do, I'll put back my vacuum chucking system, and then let's move around over here. Okay, so now that you've seen that, this comes with built-in air once you hook it up to your compressor. It's really handy to have that very close by. It also has a nice handle here and release mechanism for releasing your motor head when you want to change the position of your belts. In order to lock the spindle, it has a very nice spindle lock feature here, which you just push in the spindle lock button, find the detent, and pull down the locking mechanism until you release it again. Alright, so that's another nice feature about that lathe here. The belt system is very nice and easy to change. Like I said, you just loosen up, pull the handle up, you can move your belts. I have it set right now on the middle gear, which I would say 90% of the turning that I do will most likely be with that. Until I would be doing some larger bowl turning, I would probably step it down a little bit. The built-in vacuum on-off will turn on and off your vacuum once you have your compressor hooked up to this vacuum chucking system, which has 2 Venturi vacuum chambers in there. The on-off switch, very large, easy to get at, and it also has a remote, which I will show you later, forward and reverse, and extremely variable speed all the way from 0 to whatever you have it set on depending on your belt setup. I think you can get up to around 3,500 RPMs on your high range here. 80 to 2,000 is where I have it set, because most of my stuff I don't ever really need to go over 2,000. It would only be if I was turning very, very small things, or you know, something like that. Let's see, is there anything else in this area? Oh, these two rods right here run through to the backside to two large hex heads that are 19 millimeter hex heads, which you lock down the your headstock onto the ways of your lathe. That is an extremely positive locking mechanism on the ways of this lathe. My old lathe just had a throw cam arm, very much like your banjo, and it was a single. And it, sometimes if you didn't really have it locked off, you might feel that head moving around a little, which is not ever a good thing to have. So then, as we move down here, it's got the shield, and I'm doing, so this is one of the nice features here is this, the light tree, which you can position and get pretty well over pretty much anything you're doing and get yourself well illuminated. But I will say that when you're utilizing this, and it's nice because you have built-in plugs here for sanders or carving devices, drills, whatever you happen to be doing. But I've noticed that if I have this light tree in a position that I might like this, and then I wanted to swing my safety up out of the way, it makes it a little bit difficult. So I think what I'm going to do is eventually position my light tree a little more like this, and maybe then I can still get well illuminated and have my safety shield on, and then all I would need to do is swing these lights out of the way in order to disengage my safety guard. Because the safety guard, what it'll do, it'll lock in that position on a detent, and if I have this tree facing over here, this runs into it when I want to quickly unpin and push back to the next detent. So I can't do that with this power supply in the way there. So I think I'm going to take and switch this power supply to the other side of this arm, and then I can position the arm over here and still utilize the lights and my safety shield. So that's another thing there that maybe would be a little bit better to change around. Nothing really major, something I can probably do on my own. The banjo is very nice, slides easily now that I've deburred the edges, and it locks off extremely well. The tool rest itself, I don't know, it's not the greatest tool rest. It's not the most ergonomic, but it'll do for now. I think eventually I'll get myself a better tool rest for here, and a couple, you know, a nice small one, and what have you. But that's normal. A lot of lathes, you end up wanting to get a slightly better tool rest than what you might have with the lathe. So let's see. I went ahead when I got this. I went ahead and got the movable feet system, which it's okay, but I wanted to show one thing it's not that great about it, and that is that in order to engage and disengage it, it has this foot bar here. Well, the knockout bar for your lathe, which maybe I'll just have to store this somewhere else, if I disengage this just with my foot, it'll pop up and it'll smack into this. So just be careful of that if you do get one of these systems. And the other thing is, it doesn't lift it as high as I would like it to lift it, because if I have my leveling feet down at all, then when I do the lift, it really doesn't quite get enough clearance for me to traverse over any kinds of cracks or bumps at all. You'd have to be on extremely flat, level, nicely poured concrete, which unfortunately I do not have out here. So anyway, I have to do it by hand right now, and I have my leveling feet touching the ground pretty much, so that I don't have to worry about it springing up so much. So that's something else there that would be nice to see, maybe a slight modification, and it might be something, once again, I could do by welding some tabs on to the roller system down there. Okay, so over here at this end, what we have, you can kind of see the mechanism I'm talking about here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. So right down there on those wheels, It would be nice if this edge here had a little more clearance and the wheels were maybe able to lift about another 1/4 of an inch or so off the ground. So I may be able to do that by adding a little curved plate down there. Okay, so now up here at the tailstock, I have right now my magnetic remote down here near the tailstock, just so if I'm working on something and something does happen, I don't have to cross the path of potential debris. I have a quick shut-off switch here, which is a very nice feature, especially if you're doing out of balance turning on your vacuum chuck, or if you are doing any kind of large work. It's nice to be able to turn on and off your lathe without having to go across and around that 180 degrees of potential hazard. This has storage in the tailstock, onboard storage, where I'm keeping a couple items. One thing that I will mention, when I received my live center, the live center has bad threads on it, so my cone, and the cone is aluminum, which is a little bit odd. It would be much better if this was not aluminum, especially if you're doing any pen turning and using a mandrel. The end of your cone is going to invariably get fairly damaged, being that it's such a soft metal. The first thread and the last thread on my live center are not the proper size. They're more of a sharp thread instead of more of like an Acme style sort of thread where you have a flat surface, and because of that, the threads weren't really cut properly, and it's trying to eat away some of the aluminum thread on the inside of this cone. So if you get one of these, be wary of that. It has a very nice tailstock travel. You get out here to a little over 4 inches, and it's extremely smooth. I can spin it and just really nice. Okay, and it is a self-extracting quill on the end. Locks off extremely well, and that's another really nice feature. It locks and slides extremely easily, and it has a very, very positive lockdown on it. Let's see, what else? So this also came with the comparator, or the comparative duplicator spurs. So you have two spurs here, which let's see if you can see both ends. Let me back us up a hair, and I'll bring the tailstock in. So if you want to do any duplicating on this, you can take and put a spur in down here and pull out your guard and put a spur in down here and put your spindle between those two and line up the ends of your wood with whatever you're trying to duplicate, and that'll give you something that you can go back and forth with a pair of calipers a little more easily. So that's kind of nice. I don't do a lot of spindle turning, but maybe I will in the future. Maybe I'll do a little more spindle turning in the future. So let's see, what else is there about this? I'm going to take this off. That's good. Turn this on, and I'll show you the digital readout on this, which is very nice and easy to read. You can change the speed on this completely. Everything's unlocked, and so in forward gear at 705, I just kind of want to show you. Maybe I'll zoom in on this a little bit. This thing is very quiet, as you can see, and there is absolutely no run out whatsoever on the head of this, which you would definitely hope to be the case, but you just never know with some of these things that get shipped, you know. you can have ones that might show up with a bearing that was already damaged or something. So this one seems to be very good at this point. And that's at 700 going up. There's very, very little vibration on the entire head of this. So you can, you know, like I can have a tool up here and it's not vibrating around at all. I generally don't like to keep any tools up here if I'm actually doing any turning, just because of the potential danger of it falling off the backside down towards my indexing system, or falling off this side into the work that I'm working on. So wait a minute. Thank you, subscribers and woodworkers alike, and those of you who are just creating your own content, watching what you want to watch. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Keep tuning in to the Naked Turner for exciting new projects over the next year. Hopefully 2015 will bring about a lot of inspiring and exciting videos from the woodshop of the Naked Turner. Take care, enjoy, turn safe.